Privacy demanded. The platform stirred with routine voices. Porters hurried past. Passengers gathered their things. One voice cut above the rest. "Reserved," I said. Godfrey Lechmere's tone was sharp. He stood beside the first-class carriage. The porter hesitated, hat in hand. "I cannot travel without privacy," Lechmere continued. "Important work. Documents to review. I paid for it." His face was set. His words left no room for argument. The porter muttered something about slips and labels. Lechmere waved him off. He pushed open the compartment door. The card on the window read, "Reserved." Lady Bantry tugged her fur tighter. She turned to the friend beside her. "Jane, do you hear him? So fussy. Some men always must have their way." Miss Marple gave a mild smile. Her eyes moved, not her head. She registered Lechmere's manner. Sharp, demanding, uneasy. Lady Bantry fussed again. "Do you have your ticket, Jane? Your gloves? Your bag? I worry these trains grow cold." "All quite safe, Dolly," Marple replied softly. Her knitting bag was secure, her ticket tucked away. She adjusted her sensible coat. The guard appeared further down. Ernest Bale, neat spectacles, clipboard under arm. He ticked off numbers with steady hand. "Footwarmers all accounted for," Bale called. He paused at each carriage. He checked doors. His method was strict. Miss Marple watched him. She always noticed those who checked details. A man used to routine, a man less used to mistakes. Lechmere brushed past Bale. "Guard," he said curtly. "Make sure I am not disturbed. Not by anyone. Do you understand?" Bale blinked. "Sir, every passenger. Not anyone," Lechmere snapped. "I require complete quiet." The guard inclined his head. He marked his list again. He let Lechmere move on. Marple's eyes followed. Lady Bantry whispered, "Important, is he not? Some buyer, I think. Always papers and business." Marple nodded gently. She saw the small things, the way his hand trembled, the way his eyes darted. Passengers began boarding. Miss Snow, small and brisk, with a flask. Mr. March, cheerful, carrying cases. Mrs. Henderson, careful on the steps. Marple stored each name. She always did. People reveal themselves in fragments. Patterns later show the truth. The whistle blew. Doors closed along the line. The guard lifted his lantern. The train prepared to move. Lechmere stood for one last glance. He pulled the door shut. Too firm, too final. The sound echoed in Marple's thoughts. Doors are meant to close. But some doors close with weight beyond wood and glass. She folded her hands. Reflection stirred quietly. Privacy can be demanded, yet privacy can also hide fear. Lechmere's door closed, too firmly. Window turned strange. The train had gained steady speed. Passengers settled. Doors rattled lightly. Wheels clicked on the rails. Miss Marple shifted her knitting bag. Her eyes drifted toward the first-class line. One window drew her notice. It looked wrong. The glass in Lechmere's compartment was misted, not from outside snow, from inside. Condensation clung heavy, almost grey. Marple frowned. Steam heating explained much in winter, but not this odd film that spread unevenly. She leaned back, silent. She watched the change grow. Moisture turned cloudy. A faint, dull shade pressed against the pane. A voice broke in. "Fine evening for travel, eh?" Mr. March appeared cheerful as ever. He stood near, grinning wide. "Bit of a delay at the start, but nothing too dire," he said. He tapped his bag. "Samples in here, always safe. My company depends on me." He chuckled at his own line. Marple gave a small nod. Her attention lingered elsewhere. The window had grown stranger still. March leaned closer. "You see that, madam? Odd, isn't it? Perhaps just the heating." He laughed again, without worry. Mrs. Henderson spoke sharply from the row behind. "Heating, you say? Too little of it. My feet are near frozen. These foot-warmers fail at their duty." She tugged her shawl tighter. Her voice carried complaint. The guard passed, noted her fuss, and moved on. His list never left his hand. March winked. She's always cold, I think. Some people are never warm enough. You agree, ma'am? Marple smiled faintly. She did not reply. Her eyes fixed again on the odd frost. It deepened as she watched. She drew one stitch, then paused. Her needles rested on her lap. She marked the pain. Not mist, now something heavier. Grey traced the center, like soot caught in moisture, like a film laid purposefully. Her instincts stirred quick. March followed her gaze. Strange, isn't it? I thought it just fog, but it thickens. Henderson muttered again. These coaches grow colder. I shall complain at Paddington. Mark my words. The wheels clattered harder. The whistle blew in distance. Yet Marple's focus did not move. The pain unsettled her. Privacy, yes. But this was sealed privacy. Privacy growing darker. Privacy demanding explanation. Her lips pressed together. She said nothing to March. She said nothing to Henderson. She only watched. The train swayed. Passengers adjusted their bags. The guard's lantern passed the corridor. The misted pane remained. Inside, frost gathered thicker, layer upon layer, dense, opaque, wrong. Marple closed her knitting bag. Her hands folded slow. She felt a weight of unease. Glass told stories when words did not. Inside frost grows thicker, not railway issue. The guard bent low, his lantern tilted under the seat. He drew something out. Heavy, covered, strange. A foot warmer, but not one of theirs. He stared hard, then looked at Miss Marple. Not on my list, he said. His voice was tight. His hands weighed the object. He shook his head. The cover was rough wool, knitted, grey, clumsy stitches, and a smell, peppermint, sharp, pungent. It clung to the wool. It drifted through the air. Mrs. Henderson sniffed. What is that? Not proper at all. Makes me queasy. Mr. March leaned closer. Not company stock, I promise. I know heating devices. This one is odd. The guard frowned deeper. His spectacles caught the light. Every issue is recorded. This is not. Miss Marple stepped forward. Her eyes stayed on the grey knit. Her voice calm, low. Seal the compartment. The guard blinked. Madam? Seal it, she repeated. No entry, no air. Her tone left no space. The guard obeyed. He shut the door hard. He turned the key firm. Peppermint lingered, sweet and sickly, covering something harsher, something that burned faint. Bale shifted uneasily. His hand wiped his brow. This is wrong. I do not like it. March gave a nervous laugh. Perhaps only medicine rubbed on wool. A harmless cure. Old women use such tricks. Marple's eyes fixed on him. Her words clipped. Not harmless. Not here. She did not explain more. The guard set the foot warmer aside. He wrapped it in cloth. He placed it on the corridor floor. He stood back. Inside, silence pressed heavy. Lechmere had not moved. Not a word. Not a cough. Marple looked through the pane. Frost still clung. Grey. Thicker now. Her lips pressed tight. Henderson muttered again. These trains fail more each year. No proper service. Always trouble. No one answered her. The guard's eyes flicked to Marple. She gave a small nod. He understood. March shifted from foot to foot. He cleared his throat. He tried to smile. It failed. Bale stood rigid. Clipboard hugged to his chest. He would not meet Marple's eyes. He stared at the locked door. The peppermint stung sharper. It clung to coats. It clung to the air. It masked something else. Marple thought of patterns. Nothing is hidden for long, even when wrapped in wool. Even when doused in scent. She folded her hands slow. Her eyes stayed steady. A memory stirred of other journeys. Journeys that ended in silence. The silence deepened. It grew unbearable. The frost told its story. Lechmere slumped inside. Lechmere slumps, silent. Whispers in corridor. The locked door drew eyes. Passengers leaned forward. Voices lowered. Whispers filled the passage. Mrs. Vale stood nearest. Her voice carried questions. "What has happened? Why is it locked? Is the man unwell?" The guard shifted uneasily. "Procedure, madam, nothing more." But his tone lacked weight. Vale pressed again. Was it sudden? Surely someone should look. A doctor, perhaps. Miss Marple's gaze rested on her, noted the persistence, noted the tone. More than curiosity. Miss Snow edged close. She clutched her flask, knuckles pale, eyes darting. She held the thermos tight. She spoke little, only a murmur. Such trouble on one train. Mr. March joined them. Always too cheerful. He pointed at the foot-warmer, still wrapped by the guard. "Not railway issue," he said. "Some private make. I know these things. Heating is my trade." He tapped his bag, samples inside. He gave a small laugh. "Safe design's mine. Not like that." Snow flinched at his words. Her fingers twisted round the lid. She pulled it closer, eyes downcast. Vale leaned forward again. Her scarf brushed the door. Her tone grew sharp. "Who placed that object? Who allowed it aboard?" The guard bristled. "No one on my list. All accounted for. Every standard issue signed." March raised brows. "Then someone smuggled it. Deliberate, wouldn't you say?" His grin faded quick. The whispers thickened. Passengers muttered in clusters. Fear grew with each word. Suspicion spread fast. Snow whispered again. "Too much risk. Fire, fumes, worse. I do not like it." Marple noted her flask, noted her nerves, noted her silence between. Every action mattered. Vale's questions pressed on. Surely the company inspects luggage. Surely the guard checks. Her insistence rang loud. The guard turned to her. "Madam, all was checked. No exceptions." Yet his eyes shifted aside. Marple caught it. The small evasion, the doubt behind it. She filed it away. Passengers grew restless. Steps shifted. Lanterns swayed. Murmurs rose. March cleared his throat. "Perhaps only an accident. Not planned. We mustn't jump too soon." But his words fell flat. No one agreed. Every face showed mistrust. Every glance turned sharper. Marple spoke softly. "Questions matter, but answers come later. For now we wait." Her calm eased nothing. Fear held the air. Eyes kept on Vale. Eyes kept on Snow. The guard checked tickets. Routine under strain. Each card punched once. He reached Vale's slip. 2 holes. Not one. 2 clear punches. 2 separate checks. Marple's eyes lifted. Her breath stilled. The corridor hushed. Suspicion fixed sharp. Vale's ticket shows 2 punches. Everyone has a reason. The corridor had not quieted. Whispers spread fast. Suspicion clung to each face. Marple's eyes moved carefully. She spoke low, but steady. "Motives exist everywhere. We must not ignore them." The guard stiffened at her tone. She pointed first to March. "Your trade is heating. A new design, untested. Failure could ruin your reputation." March tried to smile. "I sell safe goods, always tested, always sound." Marple's voice remained calm. "Yet if railway heaters failed, your models could replace them. Sales would rise." March's face flushed. "Coincidence? Nothing more. I never touched that device." He adjusted his bag nervously. Marple turned to Snow. "You hold your flask tightly. Why so guarded? Why so pale?" Snow's eyes darted. "It is only cocoa. Nothing strange. I brewed it myself." Her hands shook faintly. Marple did not smile. "Your cork was scorched." "How?" Snow whispered. "A flame, perhaps. I stood too near. I did not know." Her flask trembled in her hands. She hugged it closer. Her eyes stayed down. Her nerves betrayed her. Marple shifted to bail. The guard straightened fast. His clipboard pressed hard. His lips tightened. "You accounted for heaters," Marple said. "All listed. All signed. Yet one was not." Bale swallowed. "I counted all. Every compartment received proper issue. No exceptions. Marple's gaze held him. Too precise, perhaps. Too confident. Did you miss a step? He shook his head sharply. No, madam. I follow rules. I never fail. But his eyes fell. His hand wiped sweat. Routine had slipped. Marple marked it. March cleared his throat again. Madam, I am no killer. I sell heaters, not death. Surely you see this. Snow muttered low. I never harmed anyone. I only wanted warmth. I only wanted peace. Vale spoke harsh. Do not doubt me. I serve this line. I keep records true. Marple let the silence rest. She looked at each in turn. Each avoided her eyes. Each seemed guilty. Her words cut quiet. Motives are hidden, but tonight they stand clear. Each of you had reason. No one answered. Only the sound of rails. Only the hush of fear. Tension pressed heavier. March's fingers tapped his bag. Snow's flask rattled faintly. Bale gripped his clipboard tighter. All signs betrayed unease. Marple folded her hands. Her eyes softened, but firm. Justice waits. Truth shows itself. She knew patterns repeat. Fear makes men falter. Secrets bleed through silence. Every face told a story. Yet stories deceive. Appearances mislead. Trust cannot be simple. Every hand could hide guilt. She looked once more. 3 stood before her. 3 motives. 3 lies. 3 shadows of guilt. All 3 look equally guilty. Wrong kind of label. The guard examined the slip. He frowned. The ink looked fresh. The paper felt odd. Marple stepped closer. Her eyes moved carefully. Not railway stock. A shop label. She read faint marks beneath. Benham Stores. Letters half hidden. Still clear enough. Not issued by us. Bale muttered. He shook his head, his voice low, his hand uneasy. March leaned in. Strange choice for a forgery. Too common. Too obvious. Snow whispered. Perhaps someone careless. Perhaps no forgery at all. Only scrap paper. Marple shook her head. Not scrap. Deliberate. Chosen for reason. The guard hesitated. Benham Stores. Yes, that shop in Much Benham. I know it. Marple nodded slowly, her mind already ahead. Mrs. Vale, she said softly. She lives there. Vale stiffened. Her hand clutched her scarf, her lips pressed tight. She spoke quickly. Many know that shop. Not only me. Benham Stores sells widely. Anyone could use its tags. Marple's eyes stayed calm, her voice measured. But only some had need. Only some had chance. She pointed to the slip. The word reserved, ink too dark, written in haste. March rubbed his chin. Why bother with such trick? To keep the seat free. For what purpose? Marple answered softly. Privacy, isolation, control of space. Snow shivered. It feels wrong. Too neat a plan. Too cruel. The guard folded the slip. He placed it in his pocket. Evidence, he said, must be kept. Vale's eyes darted. Her breath quickened. Her scarf slipped loose. She adjusted it fast. Marple noted the gesture. Nerves betrayed her. Not words. Never words. March tried again to laugh. Surely only coincidence. A simple card. Nothing more. But no one agreed. Even Henderson frowned. Her voice sharp. Coincidence. Not with death aboard. Silence pressed harder. Only rails below spoke. Only wheels carried the weight. Faces turned grim. Marple spoke once more. Patterns reveal truth. Forged signs show intent. Intent shows guilt. She folded her hands. Her tone grew quiet. Some lies write themselves bold. This one does. Her eyes rested on Vale. Her meaning clear. Her judgment sharp. No smile. March stepped back. Snow clutched tighter. The guard avoided her eyes. Tension deepened. Marple breathed slow. Her thoughts firm. Justice does not rest. Truth does not hide. She looked again at the slip. She thought of Vale's village. She thought of patterns repeated. She thought of lives broken. Link points back to Vale. Wool in the vent. The guard leaned forward. His hand brushed the grill. Something resisted. Not dust. He pulled at it. Fibers stretched out. Grey strands. Rough wool. Marple stepped closer. She bent slightly, her eyes sharp. She did not speak. The guard sniffed. Peppermint, he muttered. The scent clung. Too strong. March frowned. That smell again. Covering something harsher. You see? Snow shrank back. Her flask rattled. Her lips pressed. She said nothing. Vale adjusted her scarf. Her hand lingered. The wool matched. Same color. Same stitch. Marple's eyes flicked. From scarf to fibers. From fibers back again. Pattern clear. Vale wiped his forehead. His tone uneasy. Vent must stay clear. Blocked vents kill. Marple answered calm. Yes, ventilation is life. Without it, air dies. So does man. The guard tugged more. Strands came loose. Enough to fill a fist, all grey. Peppermint spread further. It stung the nose. It masked something sharp, something burning faint. March bent low. He shook his head. No ordinary blockage, placed by hand. Snow whispered weakly. Perhaps by mistake. Wool catches easily. Wind can pull it. Marple glanced at her, her tone cut steady. Not here. Not in this way. Vale's eyes narrowed, her voice forced calm. Anyone owns grey wool. Scarves are common. Marple said nothing. She folded her hands. She let silence answer. Truth needed no rush. The guard held the fibers. He stared hard. His hand trembled. He looked at Marple. She nodded once. He wrapped them tight. Evidence. Proof to keep. March broke the pause. Someone meant harm. This was planned. No doubt now. Snow gripped her flask, her whisper thin. Planned, yes. But by whom? Vale turned away. Her scarf slipped again. She tugged it sharply. Too late. Marple watched every move. Every gesture spoke louder. Words deceived. Hands betrayed truth. The corridor hushed. No one pressed further. Eyes said enough. Fear spread stronger. Marple breathed slow, her thoughts steady. Details tie stories. Stories tie guilt. She recalled old lessons. Patterns repeat. Motives hide in fabric. Always revealed in threads. Her gaze lingered. Scarves warm the body. But scarves can also kill. The thought pressed cold. Fibers prove intent. Train halts in snow. The wheels slowed. The whistle faded. The coaches shook. Then silence. Lights flickered once. Dim. Bright. Then steady again. The carriage grew tense. Passengers stirred at once. Doors slid open. Boots moved in the corridor. Questions rose quickly. Why have we stopped? Henderson asked. Her voice sharp. Her hands clutched her bag. Her face pale. March leaned out. Hanbury cutting, he said. Bad line here. Always trouble in snow. Snow muttered near him. Her flask shook. She whispered low. Not safe. Not safe. Vale stepped back quietly. She slipped into the crowd. Her scarf brushed against the wall. Her steps unnoticed. Marple saw the motion. She said nothing. She marked the moment. She kept it stored. The guard pushed through, lantern high, clipboard firm in hand. His face grave. Delay at the line, he said. Snowdrifts build fast. We must wait. His words stiff. Henderson groaned aloud. Always delays. Always excuses. This railway fails us. March tried a smile. At least warm inside. Better than outside. Madam? No one laughed. Snow clutched her flask. Her eyes darted. She would not speak. The guard leaned to Marple. Not weather only, he whispered. Signals gone dark. Something worse. Marple's face tightened. She answered quiet. Danger builds in silence. It never waits. The guard nodded once. He turned away fast, his steps sharp. His lantern swung. Passengers murmured louder. Fear pressed close. Suspicion spread again. No comfort held. Vale slipped back. She blended calm. No one asked. No one noticed. Marple did. She watched her scarf. She watched her breath. She filed it away. The guard returned quick. "Compartment sealed still," he said. "No entry given, but another door wrong." Marple leaned in. "Which one?" she asked. His eyes shifted. "Coach ahead," he whispered. She rose slow. She steadied herself. Her hands folded neat, her eyes fixed forward. March followed at distance. Snow stayed behind. Henderson muttered complaints. Vale stood silent. The guard pointed. A door half open. Light inside dim, air heavy. Marple stepped close. She inhaled once. Her face set. Her eyes narrowed. Peppermint again. Not faint. Not mild. Strong. The same scent. The same cover. The same danger. Repeating itself. Her thoughts ran firm. Patterns again. One death sealed. Perhaps another begun. Another compartment smells strange. Not one target. The guard pulled the door wide. The smell hit at once. Peppermint. Sharp. Marple stepped inside. She bent toward the vent. Fibers again. Grey wool. The passenger shivered in the corner. A young clerk. Face pale. Hands trembling. "I felt faint," he whispered. Heat grew heavy. Air would not move. Then it stopped. The guard checked under the seat. He drew out another box. Metal. Cold. But inside nothing burned. No fire started. The fuel damp. The spark. Failed. Marple studied it. Her eyes sharp. Her words firm. Another attempt. March stepped in behind. He whistled low. Not one attack. Two. Snow gasped. Her flask rattled again. Her lips moved silent. Fear plain. Vale stood stiff. Her scarf loose. Her gaze darted. She said nothing. Vale wiped his brow. His hands shook. His list slipped. Routine broken. Marple pointed to the vent. Same fibers. Same scent. Same hand. The guard muttered. Could have killed. He was lucky. Only luck. The clerk's voice cracked. "I thought I would die. Could not breathe." The air closed. Marple nodded slowly. Intent clear. Pattern fixed. Not chance. March rubbed his chin. So deliberate. Twice now. That proves it. Snow whispered again. Who hates enough? Who plans so much? Who dares this? No one answered. The silence pressed. Every face strained. Every breath thin. Marple folded her hands. Her eyes stayed steady. This is no accident. It is design. Vale tried to defend. All heaters checked. I swear it. No fault mine. Marple looked at him, her tone calm. Not fault, but failure to see. Vale coughed lightly. Her voice thin. Terrible indeed, yet not proof. Marple did not reply. She only noted. Her memory stored. Her judgment waited. March tapped the cold box. Looks mine, eh? But it is not. Not my make. Snow whispered again. Then whose? Her voice cracked. Her flask shook. The clerk leaned forward. Tears near his eyes. I thought it done. I thought life gone. The guard steadied him. Rest now. You are safe. For the moment. Marple's lips pressed. Her thoughts turned. One attack could be chance. Two attacks prove will. Her mind held firm. Killer sought more. Not one life. More than one. Someone wanted more deaths. Voices under pressure. The guard stood aside. Marple stepped forward. 3 suspects faced her. Silence held them. She began with March. His bag rested near. He smiled too wide, his voice unsteady. Unfortunate business, he said. Terrible for all. But heaters are safe. I know my trade. Marple spoke calm. Your knowledge makes you suspect. You admit skill. You admit means. March laughed weakly. Means, perhaps, but never motive. I profit from safety. He tugged his collar. He tapped his case. I sell warmth, not death. Do not mistake me. Marple let silence linger. His hands betrayed nerves. Her eyes recorded all. She turned to Snow. The flask shook again. Snow held it close. Her lips trembled. Her eyes avoided hers. "I am innocent," Snow said. "I swear it. Only cocoa inside. Only warmth for myself." Marple leaned closer. "Your cork scorched. Your hands unsteady. Explain it." Snow whispered faint. "I stood near a flame. I did not know. It was accident." Her words rushed. Her tone cracked. She hugged the flask tighter. She would not meet eyes. Marple said nothing more. The silence pressed harder. Snow's fear spoke louder. She turned to Vale. Vale lifted her chin, her scarf neat again, her voice firm, her tone controlled. "I asked about drafts," she said. "I suffer from chills. I must know about vents. Health demands care." Marple's voice low. "Convenient. Your concern for air, your presence near vents." Vale did not falter. "I value safety. That is no crime. I protect myself." Her words sharp, her eyes steady, her hands still. She pressed her case strong. March broke in nervously. "Surely, you see." She only worried. "Nothing more." Snow whispered again. "She asked too much. Always about vents. Always pressing." Vale glared at her. "You imagine things. Do not spread lies. I fear drafts. That is all." Marple stayed silent. Her eyes moved slow. She measured tones. She measured slips. March still flushed. Snow still shook. Vale still pressed calm. Yet calm too forced. The guard watched all. His notes marked lines, his face pale, his faith shaken. Marple folded her hands, her words quiet. Truth is never loud. It slips through speech. Her gaze rested on Vale. Her ears caught the crack. Not words themselves, but tone beneath. She drew breath slow. Her thoughts weighed. Vale's calm strained. Vale's voice betrayed her. Marple hears a slip in Vale's tone. Official hands take charge. The train slowed again. Snow pressed outside. A lantern swung. A whistle blew sharp. Steps sounded on the platform. A figure boarded quick. Inspector Slack. Coat buttoned tight. He strode the corridor, eyes scanning faces. Voice hard. "Enough confusion. Facts only." The guard saluted. "Inspector, trouble aboard. One man dead. Another near." Slack grunted. "Names, times, details in order. No stories." He pushed past March. He brushed aside Henderson. He stood before Marple. "Well?" Marple inclined her head. Her voice calm. "Evidence speaks. Clues gather." Slack frowned. "No riddles. No fancies. Tell me plain." Marple nodded. She lifted her knitting bag. From it she drew small slips. Fibers wrapped. Wool from vents. Grey. Peppermint scent. Matches Vale's scarf. Not accident. Slack stared hard. He sniffed once. His face tightened. He said nothing. Marple placed the label next. Reserved slip forged. Benham Stores tag. Vale's Village. Slack tapped it. Forgery clear. Intent clear. Not yet guilt. She spoke softly. Twice attempted. Once failed. Once not. Slack's jaw set. He turned to the guard. All suspects held. At once. Vale saluted. His face pale. His clipboard shook. He obeyed. March protested. "Inspector, I am blameless. I sell heaters. Not poison." Snow whimpered. "I only had cocoa. I never harmed. I never tried." Vale stood stiff, her lips tight, her scarf in hand. She did not speak. Slack barked orders. "Confine them. Separate compartments. Under watch." The guard moved quick. Doors locked. Keys turned. Lanterns checked. Henderson muttered complaints. "Always delays. Now police, too. Nothing but misery." Slack ignored her. He faced Marple. "You claim much. You prove little." Marple did not flinch. "Proof grows in detail. Details never lie. Only men do." Slack folded arms. his face stern, his eyes narrowed. Then we shall see. The corridor hushed, only wheels below, only breath above, only waiting. Marple looked once more. She studied Vale. Her hands clutched scarf. Her face lost colour. Fear crept slow, not in words, not in speech, but in silence. Marple reflected within. Truth weighs heavy, even before verdict. Guilt leaks out. Vale grows pale. Old war secrets. Slack placed a book on the table. Leather cover, pages marked. Lechmere's diary. He flipped it open. Dates neat, entries short. Routine kept. Slack read aloud. Appointment tomorrow. Mrs. Vale. War service records. He looked up. His eyes narrowed, his tone sharp. Explain this. Vale stiffened. Her hands trembled. She clutched her scarf. She did not answer. Slack pressed harder. You were to meet. Why? Why those words? Marple leaned closer. Her finger pointed. Another line showed. A single name. Hutchkins, she said softly. Her voice steady. Her eyes fixed. Her tone quiet. The corridor hushed. March frowned. Snow gasped. Vale looked away. Slack tapped the page. Who is Hutchkins? Why in his diary? What does it mean? Vale whispered faint. Nothing. A mistake. Irrelevant. Her voice cracked. Her eyes dropped. She could not hold. She turned aside. Marple's words cut calm. Not mistake. Not irrelevant. Truth waits here. Snow clutched her flask. Her breath quick. Her fear rose. She said nothing. March muttered. Strange link. Old names. Dangerous. Past. Slack slammed the cover. Answer me, woman. Why your name? Why this child's name? Vale's lips trembled. Her voice broke. I cannot. I must not. Marple folded her hands, her tone quiet. Mary Hutchkins. Evacuee child. 1940. The guard froze. His face drained. His hand shook. He remembered. Marple continued. Train locked. Heater failed. One child lost. Her words struck deep. The silence grew. All eyes fixed. All breath stopped. Vale bowed her head. Her shoulders bent. Her eyes wet. Her voice gone. Slack glared hard. He gripped the diary. This proves tie. Past to present. Marple nodded once. Her thoughts clear. Her heart heavy. Secrets return. Always. Snow whispered faint. Terrible. All those years. Still bleeding now. March rubbed his brow. War scars. Never healed. Never gone. Vale swallowed hard, his voice low. We called it accident, but truth lived on. Marple's eyes closed briefly. She recalled headlines. She recalled whispers. She recalled sorrow. Justice delayed, she murmured. Justice twisted. Children pay, then years later, others too. Her eyes opened slow, her voice firm. This is no coincidence. This is shadow returned. She stared at Vale, her tone soft. Your silence speaks more. Your guilt weighs more. The train rocked. The guard shifted. Slack stood still. Tension bound them. Marple breathed deep. Memory cut sharp. The year 1940 rose clear. One tragedy, not buried. Marple recalls 1,940 evacuee tragedy. Scent betrays her. The guard placed the fibers on the table. Grey wool, still sharp with peppermint, still damp with air. Slack leaned forward, his brow furrowed. Explain this, he demanded, his voice firm. Marple did not rush, her hands folded calm, her eyes measured, her words slow. Peppermint masks charcoal. Burning fuel smells harsh, too obvious. So it was hidden. March nodded quick. Yes, I smelled it. Not my products. Never mine. Snow whispered weak. I thought it medicine. A rub for colds. I never guessed more, Marple continued. Wool cozy held the device. Scarf blocked the vent. Fibers carried the scent. Slack frowned. Separate items. Separate places. How linked? Marple's tone sharpened. Transfer. Handling both. Hands betray owners. She pointed at the fibers. Grey. Rough. Matches Vale's scarf. No doubt. Vale stiffened. Her hand clutched the fabric. Her lips pressed tight. Her eyes lowered. Slack barked. Well, woman, your scarf explains this, or do you deny? Vale spoke thin. Scarves are common. Grey wool everywhere. You cannot prove mine. Marple shook her head. Not colour alone, not wool alone, but scent. The guard sniffed again. Strong peppermint. Unmistakable. Still clinging. Marple pressed further. You masked charcoal. You thought clever. But peppermint bound them. All three connected. March shifted, uneasy. Snow hugged her flask. Bale stared down. Silence deepened. Marple spoke firm. Scarf to vent. Vent to cozy. Cozy to scarf again. Her gaze fixed on Vale. You touched them all. You left behind proof. You carried your guilt. Slack slammed the table. Enough denial. This point's clear. You are caught. Vale's breath quickened. Her hands trembled. She tugged at her scarf. She could not hide. Snow gasped softly, her eyes wide. March shook his head, fear in both. The guard stepped back, his notes clutched tight, his face pale. Truth weighed heavy. Marple's voice lowered. Precautions fail. Tricks backfire. Even careful hands betray. She paused a moment. Her tone softened. Justice works so. Truth leaks through. Slack leaned close. Say it plain. Did you do this? Did you kill? Vale's face drained. Her body stiff. Her voice failed. Only silence. Marple reflected. Inward. Precautions deceive self. Small signs expose truth. Nothing stays hidden. Vale, caught by her own precaution. She breaks. Vale's hands shook. Her scarf slipped loose. Her eyes filled. Her voice trembled. I never meant death. The words cracked. They echoed sharp. She swallowed hard. Marple stayed silent. Her gaze steady. Her hands folded. Her patience firm. Vale spoke again. I wanted truth. I wanted confession, not silence. Slack leaned closer. Say it clear. What truth? Whose confession? Vale's head dropped. Her shoulders bent. Her lips moved slow. Leshmere's. The guard stiffened. March gasped. Snow clutched her flask. No one breathed. Vale pressed on. He hid it. He buried it. But I knew. Her eyes blurred. Her voice thin. Mary Hutchkins, 1940. She choked on the name. Her breath shallow. Her tears fell. Her tone broke. He locked the coach. Children inside. He left them. He forgot them. Her fists clenched. One heater failed. The fumes spread. Mary died. Snow's eyes widened. March whispered, terrible. Bale shut his eyes. Slack's face hardened. Vale sobbed louder. I begged inquiry. I begged truth. They called it accident. Her voice shook. He walked free. He carried on, and I carried pain. Marple's voice was calm. You carried long. Too long. Pain twists justice. Vale nodded weakly. Her words rushed. I planned to scare, not to kill. She held her scarf, her fingers tight. I thought fumes would sicken. He would confess. Her tone faltered, but it grew stronger. The vent sealed tight. He did not wake. Slack's voice cut cold. You knew risk. You chose it. That is murder. Vale's sobs deepened. Her body shook. Her face pale. Her eyes wet. I wanted justice, she cried. No one listened. No one cared. Only silence stayed. Marple's eyes softened. Her tone low. Justice asks patience. Revenge asks blood, the guard muttered. So long, all these years, carried alone, carried heavy. March wiped his brow. Tragedy upon tragedy, 2 lives gone, 1 ruined. Snow whispered faint. Children suffer first, always last. Vale lowered her head, her voice gone, her body sagged, her guilt plain. Marple breathed slow, her thoughts heavy. Secrets rot the soul, confession frees it, but freedom costs, and cost falls deep. It never spares, it never heals. Slack pulled his notebook. His pen scratched hard, his jaw tight, his eyes set. The corridor fell still. No voice spoke, no foot moved. All waited. Slack prepares arrest warrant. Justice twisted. The train pulled on. Slack kept his notes. The guard stayed silent. Marple returned to her seat. Lady Bantry leaned near, her face drawn, her voice low. "Terrible, Jane, terrible." Marple nodded gently, her hands folded, her eyes lowered, her thoughts heavy. Bantry sighed deep. 1 life lost then, another now, and hers ruined too. Marple answered soft, "Revenge bends truth. It does not mend. It breaks." Bantry shook her head. Years carried alone, she must have suffered, yet still, this end. Marple spoke slow. Yes, she suffered, but suffering turned bitter, and bitterness consumed. Bantry's eyes filled. Mary Hutchkins, poor child, forgotten by all. Marple lifted her head. Not forgotten, carried by one, but carried wrongly. Bantry whispered. Had she spoken sooner, had she pressed harder, would truth have come? Marple paused, her voice calm. Perhaps, but silence feeds shadows. Bantry nodded faint. Lechmere bore guilt, yet never named, never punished. Marple's tone steady. Justice delayed is justice denied, but vengeance steals more, always more. The guard passed slowly, his steps heavy. He did not meet eyes. His clipboard, pressed firm. Bantry looked out. Snow still fell faint, her voice strained. Children pay first, then others after. Marple breathed slow. Innocents suffer most, when truth is sealed, when lies endure. March's laugh no longer came. Snow no longer whispered. Vale no longer stood. Silence weighed them all. Bantry touched Marple's hand. Your wisdom spares some, but not all, not this night. Marple closed her eyes, her voice soft. No wisdom spares all, but it may guide. Bantry held her breath. Her shoulders trembled, her sorrow plain, her words few. Marple pressed calm. Grief teaches, if we listen, if we heed. The carriage rocked steady. Passengers hushed, fear dimmed, reflection grew. Marple thought deep, of Hutchkins, of Vale, of Lechmere, lives tied by mistake, by silence, by failure, by pain, she whispered to herself. Justice twisted breeds more wrong. Only truth heals, even if late. Her words fell quiet. Bantry squeezed her hand. Neither spoke more. Both felt weight. The corridor darkened. Steps passed slow. A shadow lingered. A hand moved. A slip pressed under the door. Paper light. Edges worn. Words short. Marple bent. She lifted it. Her eyes caught the line. Her lips tightened. A note slips under Marple's door. Others still remember. Echo of guilt. Marple held the paper. Her fingers pressed the fold. Her eyes moved across the words. 3 written only. Others still remember. She read it twice. Her breath slowed. Her face remained calm. Bantry leaned closer. What does it say? Her tone uneasy. Her hand trembled. Marple slipped the note inside her bag. Her answer was soft. Enough to remind, enough to weigh. Slack stood near. He caught her tone. Another threat? He asked. His jaw set firm. Marple shook her head. Not threat. Reminder. Justice lingers. Slack frowned. Case is closed. Confession given. Evidence plain. Marple replied steady. Confession answers one, but shadows hold more. Always more. The guard shifted, his list in hand, his eyes uncertain. He stayed quiet. March cleared his throat. No part of mine. You know that. You must. Snow whispered faint. I want to go home. I cannot bear more. Not tonight. Slack silenced them. All under watch, until station arrives. That is final. Marple leaned back, her hands folded calm, her eyes distant, her thoughts turned inward. She recalled Hutchkins. She recalled Vale. She recalled Leckmere. Patterns linked each. Justice delayed. Revenge taken. Truth hidden. Pain spread. She thought of the note. Others still remember. Who wrote it? Who waits? Bantry whispered again. Will it end? Or does it carry? Tell me, Jane. Marple spoke slow. Endings seldom neat. Secrets leave scars. Scars whisper on. Bantry lowered her gaze. Her lips tight. Her sorrow plain. Her hope thin. Slack paced once. His boots heavy. His eyes fixed. He muttered low. Justice done. But not peace. Never peace. The guard shut his book. He stood firm, his duty held, his spirit shaken. Snow hugged her flask. March tapped his case. Both avoided eyes, both uneasy. Marple lifted her head, her gaze steady. Truth lingers. We must be ready. She pressed the note deeper, hidden in her bag. Yet not forgotten. Never forgotten. The train swayed on. Steel groaned beneath. Voices hushed around. No laughter returned. Marple closed her eyes. Her mind calm. Her heart heavy. Her duty clear. Justice may wait. Shadows may hide. But truth endures. It always returns. Her lips parted once. A whisper left. Others remember. So must I. The lantern dimmed. The wheels pressed on. The night stretched long. No answers came. The winter express rides on. Unanswered questions remain.